My three priorities for the next 5 years are to lock in and continue the economic growth that we've seen in Milton Keynes over the last 5 years. That means more skills, more apprenticeships and more jobs being created locally. It's through a growing economy that we will generate the revenues to fund increases in our public services like the NHS. I've already successfully campaigned for an enhancement of accident emergency and other investments in the hospital, and with a growing economy we'll be able to fund even more. And thirdly, it's looking at the future of Milton Keynes, making sure that we've got the infrastructure in place to fund the road and rail improvements and the other services that we need to sustain a growing city. Milton Keynes has got a great future. We're coming up to our next 50 years and I want to be part of setting the vision for the future of this great place.
What do you think is the most important issue for voters in Milton Keynes?
Well, I think that the same issue is the number one priority across the country, which is how do we keep ourselves in a healthy economy? How do we keep people's living standards rising? How do we keep people, how to keep job creation going so that younger people are also able to get a share in that prosperity? And at the root of everything is, do you have a successful economy? You can't spend money on things like the National Health Service if you don't have the money. You can't spend money on defence if you don't have the money. And what we've done in the last few years is to give people right across the country a share in that prosperity. To throw it away now would be crazy. So I think for all of us, the economy is the number one policy issue in the election. I think by focusing on our own record, focusing on our own achievements and making very clear to people that we, as a country, we have to live within our means. And there is no real alternative to that, because the alternative is to borrow money from future generations. And I don't think people think it's fair for us to spend money that we don't have today and ask our children and grandchildren to pick up the bill.
And do you think that's something that the public is starting to come around to the idea of doing?
Well, what I'm finding going around the country in this election is that people are saying, yes, we think you've done a really great job. Tell us why you should be re-elected. Tell us the vision for the country. Where does it take us? And I think that the Prime Minister started to spell that out by talking about cutting inheritance tax and saying, you know, if you save and you put things aside for a rainy day and you want to pass things on to your children, why should you not be allowed to do that? And I think that's getting the message that most families understand, that they have to balance their own budgets every month and that you have to extrapolate that onto a national government picture.
What has it been like to have Liam Fox here to join you on the campaign today?
Liam's great. I've known Liam for many years, and it's great to have the celebrities from the party to come along, because it really enthuses the volunteers. Lots of people come along and help out. So Liam's been incredibly supportive, not just in this election but in previous ones, and it's been great to welcome him back to Milton Keynes.
Finally, how is your own campaign going? All well?
Well, I love campaigning in North Somerset because, first of all, it's one of the prettiest parts of the country. People go there on holiday, so it's not a bad place to have to spend 4 weeks. And people say to us as politicians, you know, it must be really, really busy when you get to election time. What they forget is it's the only time in the 5-year cycle you get to spend 4 weeks in your own bed. You get to go to pubs in your own constituency. You spend all the time talking to people you know. Believe me, that is no hardship. And if you represent somewhere as beautiful as North Somerset, to be forced to be there for a month, maybe we should have more elections.